A U.S. senator visits the test track. We ask whether small SUVs are really just hatchbacks in disguise. Are pickup trucks appealing more to women? And we answer viewer questions. Next on Talking Cars. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Mike Monticello.
I'm Jennifer Stockberger.
And I'm Jake Fisher.
Now, we've got a lot of stuff to get to today. I've got a ton of notes, so let's get right to it. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Auto Test Center is located in Connecticut. And yesterday, we got a very special visit from United States Senator Richard Blumenthal, also of Connecticut. And so, Jen, I wanted you to kind of start it off by telling us how this visit came about and what he was looking to get out of it and what we were looking to get out of this visit.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, he's our senior senator from Connecticut, and he's been here before on other automotive issues. This particular visit was in conjunction with a piece of legislation that's currently in the U.S. Senate called the AV START Act. And the START means something, and it's safer transportation through the advancement of revolutionary technologies.
Oh, I thought it was...
A little bit of a mouthful.
I thought it was autonomous vehicles getting started. I thought that's what the START was.
And it is, and it is. So the revolutionary technology is the semi-autonomous and the building blocks of these autonomous self-driving cars. And we're all about the safety benefits of the technologies. The advancement part is where we have some concerns at Consumer Reports, in that it's moving too quickly, putting too many cars on the roads that are bypassing some of the safety standards. So they're looking to kind of fast track it, but without all the safety regs underneath. So this was an opportunity with the senator for us to demonstrate what's currently on the market, some of the semi-autonomous driving features, and show him where the concerns are in handing over to a driver, where they're not able to function, if there's not line markings or things like that. So we did some demos, and Jake did some demos with them.
Yeah, do you want to talk about the demos that you took the senator through, Jake?
Sure, yeah. So we took them on the track, and we were just really showing him what these systems are capable of and what they're not capable of. Right. So clearly we don't have any really autonomous vehicles. I mean, they don't really exist, and they're certainly not marketed right now. So we have some of these vehicles that have some features that are semi-autonomous, and we demonstrated that.
So what cars were you driving?
We drove the Tesla Model 3 out on the track. It showed it's very good at, holding in its lane, but we demonstrated, so if a car's parked there and you're cruising along at 60 miles per hour, it's not necessarily going to stop at a stopped vehicle when you get to the end of the track. It's not going to realize you're at the end of the track and you're going into the woods. So it's, the point is that you need to keep engaged in these types of systems, right? You have to pay attention to where you're going. You have to keep your hands on the wheel for most of these systems. And, if you don't do that, and if you do use these systems how you should not, and you're distracted, something can happen like that. We also took them out on the Cadillac CT6 with Super Cruise, showing them another technology which actually has the driver monitoring system. So a camera that's looking at the driver, making sure someone actually looks where they're going.
And in that case, you actually went out on real roads. We weren't just in the test center, right? You went out on
Right. And it's another interesting piece of that too, is that even if they have semi-autonomous technologies, we prefer the way Cadillac has implemented it and said, well, it's really only safe on highways, so we're not going to make it available on secondary roads. Whereas Tesla has, even on our track here with some lines, it's like, sure, it may not be the really safest place to use it on a back road, but it is available to the user.
So what was his takeaway? What could you tell was his takeaway, and what things did he learn from you maybe as you were explaining these systems to him?
Well, I mean, one of the things that he learned is, really what the capability is and what it's not. So I think it was kind of loud and clear that even these systems, they call it level 2 autonomy systems. I mean, they're not that capable. They could do some things well, but you really have to stay engaged. So he's actually looking at taking this legislation and having it affect the cars that are on the road right now.
Right, which the level 2s that Jake's talking about aren't in the AV START Act. And one of the things we're saying is they should be.
Right.
So the current vehicles should be included.
So for those of you that don't know, the AV START Act is in the Senate, but the House already passed.
They had a version of it, right?
Yeah, they passed a bill that was called the Self-Drive Act last year. and Senator Blumenthal, Dianne Feinstein of California, and Edward Markey of Massachusetts are currently holding up our Tesla's going off again, are currently holding up the Senate bill until they get some amendments about safety in there.
Right.
The automakers are saying this will allow the technology to move more quickly. Jake, what do you think about this? Where are you with that?
Well, I mean, safety needs to be number one priority, and for multiple reasons. One, obviously, we don't want anyone to get hurt. But the other piece of it is, if people do get hurt, it could actually slow down this technology. So really, if we want this to develop and we want to create new things that are going to make people safer, you got to do it in a safe way.
And we do see the benefits done in a safe manner.
Exactly.
I think he had a good quote at that, it shouldn't be a race to be first. It should be a race to be best and safest.
Yeah, and we interviewed him, the editorial team interviewed him later on, and I think one of the best quotes, and maybe he learned this yesterday, was he said he feels the most dangerous moment is when the human has to take back over. Either you need to be fully involved or not at all. I don't know if that was his position before, but I know that's something you've preached, so maybe that came from you, Jake. I don't know.
I think we gave him some good things to potentially include in the bill if they amend it. Driver engagement, level 2, et cetera, which are things we've been asking for. So it was a good visit, I think.
Now, on this past Monday, EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt made a declaration that he plans to lower the future fuel economy targets for cars and trucks and light trucks in the U.S. And he said the Obama administration made assumptions about the standards that didn't comport with reality and set the standards too high. Now, on the surface, Jake, I mean, to me, this seems like this would maybe be a good move for the auto manufacturers, but bad for consumers and the environment. What do you take from where he's trying to go with this, and what do you think the auto manufacturers are going to think about this, and the consumers? How does this affect the consumers?
Well, I was surprised that our government section of the podcast is going this long, but
this is important stuff. This is important stuff for consumers.
So here's the interesting thing about it is that we're monitoring the cars in our test, and we just in April we had a whole story about. Looking at what cars have actually accomplished. And the truth is that in the last 15 years, fuel economy has really improved quite a lot while acceleration has improved, while comfort and convenience has improved, while the cars have gotten larger. So a lot of this we heard the sky is falling stuff before, and the cars haven't gotten more expensive. So the truth is that there is that capability. Now going forward, it's unclear, and there's been reports from a lot of automakers who don't want to roll back those standards, and even there's been some reports of suppliers saying we don't want to send this back because actually there's a lot of development of technology that can drive jobs. I mean, if you look at the suppliers to the auto industry to create, cars with better fuel efficiency, you look at all the stuff that we're seeing. I mean, the, aluminum, advanced materials in cars, more advanced transmissions.
Dual clutch transmissions, continuously variable transmissions, 8, 9, 10-speed transmissions.
And not to say that they're
small displacement turbos.
Right, and not to say that they're perfect. And we've cited some reliability issues.
But they've invested a lot of money in those things. You don't want to just throw those away.
Already,
And they're getting to figure out how to make these things reliable and more robust. So you suddenly, exactly right. You've invested all this money in this technology to get this fuel economy, and then suddenly you don't need it anymore. There's a problem.
My concern is, and again, this is future. They're talking 2022 to 2025. Right. So it's not an immediate change that we're going to see.
Because the manufacturers the cars are already in place.
Right. So that's where they're already working on 2022. Right. And probably 2025. But my concern is when you take away that driving force, will they continue to make those investments if they don't have to? And we've seen such benefits, to Jake's point, already because they were striving for those goals that they thought were in place. Well, if you take those away. Now, Consumer Reports continues to award fuel economy highly in our own ratings, and we'll continue to do that.
And consumers
but that's a big
reward it too, because they're shopping for these things.
And we wrote a story about this article just a couple days ago, and we said that if these continued fuel economy improvements happen the way they're plan.
Right, the way they work.
Right now, 2025 would yield savings of about $3,200 per car and $4,800 per truck or SUV over the life of that vehicle, even with the added cost of the new technologies. To your point,
Right.
Jake, where you said the vehicles haven't really gotten that much more expensive when you account for inflation.
Now, oddly, that's one of the reasons they said that they were rolling them back, is that it was high consumer cost. We haven't really seen it in the cost of the vehicles. Right now, we may not be seeing it with gas, at reasonable prices, but boy, we'd be more interested in this, I think, if gas were $4 a gallon.
Yeah, sure.
And the other piece that we didn't talk about so much and not getting is that it also includes greenhouse gas emissions. That's part of the package as well, is they're saying they're going to roll back those standards as well. So it's a clean air and a fuel economy piece to it as well.
And look, consumers are buying these cars and
benefiting already.
I think, hopefully, a lot of them know that this is helping the environment when you're driving a cleaner, more fuel-conscious car. And so you're saving the planet by the manufacturers and the consumers are all benefiting the planet this way.
And it's not killing performance vehicles.
Right.
None of this stuff is happening. I mean, they're still building the fastest, most powerful cars that we ever could imagine.
Right.
And most fuel efficient.
Well, speaking of performance vehicles, we've got the three most recent test car purchases at the track are the BMW X2, the Jaguar E-Pace, and the Volvo XC40. And they are all part of this kind of ever-growing entry-level luxury SUV segment that also includes the Audi Q3, BMW X1, Buick Encore, Infiniti QX30, Mercedes-Benz GLA Mini Countryman. Jake, I mean, are these things the new hatchback? And do people really, are they going to pay $40,000 to $50,000 for the new hatchback? Because that's what these cost. They're when the ones you're going to find on the dealer floor are $40,000 to $50,000.
I'm still stuck on your performance segue there because these are performance cars. These are hatchbacks. It's very interesting that as a market, the U.S. market really has kind of said, no, we don't want little hatchbacks and Dodge Omnis and all those things aren't cool.
Dodge Omni.
He's really going way back.
Back in my day, we had a Plymouth Horizon.
That's not what I was expecting.
But it's really, there's nothing cool about a hatchback, but suddenly they've reinvented the hatchback as a luxury small SUV, and these things are just kind of elevated hatchbacks with big wheels and some leather in them, and they're able to sell them at these prices. And even beyond just the luxury vehicles, we just did, we're testing the Ford EcoSport, which this is really a, thank you for that. But it's like a Ford
Fiesta? A raised Fiesta?
It's a raised Fiesta. This is like a tiny little car.
And it's expensive.
And we paid $28,000 for this thing. Sure, it's got all-wheel drive. It's like, here you go. You want a luxury car? You want an SUV? It's like, these are little hatchbacks.
Right. So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I almost get getting into the luxury brand, though. I can get that I can afford this BMW or I can afford this Infiniti. I get that.
Okay,
getting into no. The only one I can't afford an X5, but boy, I can afford an X2 type of thing. I get that. I less get the EcoSport for that price. Like, they're so much better.
Yeah, I'm with you. But for me, it's kind of like I'm looking at these and I'm compared the sizes versus a compact SUV.
Right.
And actually, the wheelbases, interestingly, are very similar between, we're talking like, Subaru Forester, Honda CR-V, RAV4, Mazda CX-5. The wheelbases between all of these and the entry-level luxury SUVs are very similar, but the entry-level luxury SUVs are actually several inches shorter. So you're getting, in a sense, less car for the money. They have more power, but the compact SUVs cost a lot less.
Yeah.
And if it were my money, I'd rather smack my mic there. If it were...
We all picked up on that.
If it were my money, I'd rather go with a Mazda CX-5, which drives pretty close to a lot of these luxury SUVs. More roomy, costs a lot less. Doesn't have as much power, but it still handles really well.
It drives
better.
So it drives really nice.
No, and that's advice that we would give. But it's not a BMW.
It's image.
We
don't actually, have an image score that we add to the cars.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miss Moneybags.
Yes.
So
you know me. Yeah.
Let's get to some viewer questions. Now, for those of you that watched last week's episode, we did a live taping from the New York Auto Show, and we had a really good. We invited viewers to come out and be in an audience, and it went really well. We really enjoyed the interaction. They asked some unscripted questions of you and John Linkove and Mike Quincy, and you guys did a great job answering them. And actually, I think maybe the most gratifying thing to me was after the podcast was over, so many people stuck around and talked to the gang and asked us questions.
I think we were there for a good hour.
Exactly. Told us their own story and gave us some really good feedback. And a young lady that I was talking to gave me some feedback. She said, well, you guys ask us to give these 30-second video questions, and then she's like, I never see them, so what do you do with them? And a little points off for her, she missed an episode or two, because we have shown a couple, not many. But part of the problem is we haven't gotten a ton of really good ones yet, so we're looking for more. On that note,
coming, right?
On that note, we got a pretty good one yesterday. I think it was yesterday, right?
Yeah, late yesterday.
Okay, so it was yesterday. And so we're going to play that for you now, and we're going to try and answer this question.
Hi, Talking Cars. This is Mike, and I'm Leighton, and we have a question.
We are moving back to the US in June 2018 for the first time after being away for almost 10 years. And we're planning to do a 2 to 3 month road trip starting in Seattle, driving the long way around to Chicago.
So we have a maximum budget of about $14,000. We've looked at some Civics and Corollas in the mid-2010s, also some new Elantras. We're just looking for reliable modern cars.
So we're looking for something obviously with good gas mileage that's comfortable, but when we get to Chicago, we might sell the vehicle, and we're looking for something that has a good resale value as well.
So give us your advice. What do you think? What should we buy? Thank you for your help.
Thanks.
Okay, so these guys are looking for a reliable modern car with good gas mileage and it's comfortable. For me, but they also want to sell it at the end, at the end of their trip. So for me, that immediately takes out new, because you're going to lose so much resale, as soon as you buy the car.
And they're talking 14 grand.
Yeah, they had a price point.
Yeah, what are you going to buy 14 grand?
Right.
So, I mean, if it were me, I would probably say, because you're doing a road trip, maybe you actually want something a little bigger than a sedan that they were talking about, maybe something more like a wagon or a small SUV. I would say maybe something like a Toyota Venza, from like the, what is it, 2010 to 2012 range, although the fuel economy is not great on that thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You definitely, when you think of a trip, they were talking about road tripping.
Yeah.
You want some fuel economy in there. And I think, he throws out a Corolla in there. So I don't think they're adverse to something smaller.
Yeah.
So, we did
But
this.
I think you might want more space, what I mean?
You might, because you're going to have luggage.
You're going to load a lot of stuff
You're going to load if you're doing
you're never going to pick some stuff up along the way, Who knows what you're going to buy.
We did a neat story just this week. It's timely again in that we did best used cars by price point, and we have a $10,000 to $15,000 range, and that does include Corolla is one of them. So that was a good Honda Fit. And I find that, again, I've said before, deceptively roomy car.
Lots of space inside.
Lots of space inside. Might not be bad. That group, that compact, has kind of sacrificed noise and a little bit of ride comfort, which if you're road tripping would also be kind of important, but they certainly meets the price point. Honda or Toyota would certainly have resale value.
Right.
So those, and then Kia Soul, Mazda 3, Prius, they were all in there
Toyota Prius,
as well.
I mean, 2010 to 2013 Toyota Prius, that accomplishes their fuel mileage. It accomplishes my thing of hatchback with space.
Right.
And good resale value.
And good resale
You're
value.
both wrong.
Oh boy, here we go. Set us right, Jake.
Okay.
The answer is obvious. A Camry.
Yeah, well, that's...
A 2013
She
Camry.
hadn't gotten there. I interrupted.
I know.
My fault.
So you were right. You were just getting there. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're going to spend thousands of miles in a car, you don't want to be in a Corolla, you don't want to be in a Fit, you don't even want to be in a Prius. You want something that's quiet and rides nice. And if you want to go worry about selling a car, there's nothing easier to go sell than a Camry. It's going to be reliable, it's fuel efficient. It's just a no-brainer.
That was the next segment. Yeah, great fuel economy. Better ride, quieter.
Jake is right once again. Whatever. And with that, we want to hear from you guys. So send us a 30-second video submission, and maybe we'll play it on the show. You can send it to consumerreports.org/talkingcars, or if you're cool, cr.org/talkingcars. Now we have another viewer comment, and this person says, Consumer Reports says Cadillac has great vehicles that no one buys, yet they don't recommend a single Cadillac in ratings or reliability and rank Escalade as one of the worst vehicles. Makes sense. I think that was a dig. I don't think the person really meant that it makes sense.
You think there was some sarcasm there?
Yeah, a little bit of sarcasm.
I think,
and this, I think, relates back to something you were talking about at the New York Auto Show when we were talking about the Cadillac XT4, and you said Cadillac makes great sedans that no one buys. So this is gonna be a new segment that we're gonna call Jake Splainin'. So tell us why this is.
Yeah, I mean, because the reports didn't say that I said that. And I think I've said that before, that, I really do like the modern Cadillac sedans. They drive great. But, this guy's right. He's right.
So why aren't they recommended?
They are recommended. They make great driving vehicles. Certainly, they make cars that ride and handle well and are comfortable, but the reliability isn't there to match it. And with the reliability there, we're not recommending cars that are unreliable. And also, there's other things with them too. The infotainment systems, Cadillac Q, it's really cumbersome. So,
as a driver,
I like driving.
Yeah. And I think there's the road test score, and then there's this.
It doesn't make it a good car.
Right.
That's not enough to make it a good car.
Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
They make great driving cars.
Something could be really good to drive, and it could have bad reliability, and then we can't recommend it.
Right.
So when we say stuff wrong, call us out.
Yeah.
Won't be the last Jake Splainin'. Or Jen Splainin' or Mike
Don't
Splainin'.
give him a bigger head.
Right.
Okay, so one of the biggest attention grabbers at the New York Auto Show was this Volkswagen Atlas Tanoak concept pickup truck. And we got a comment about that. And this person said, VW, build that truck fast, looks hella nice. Can we say hella on national television? Okay.
You already
He
did.
says we can.
Too late.
Looks hella nice for an SUV-based pickup. Now, VW hasn't committed to building this yet, but they say they're gauging public interest. And we've read some stories from other publications that are saying if VW really wants to build this, they should try and market it toward women. And
Smart.
that's interesting because we just recently wrote a story.
You just
might have been written by
recently
me.
wrote a story. Yeah, take credit where it's due. Yeah.
And we said it's called Are Pickup Trucks Becoming the New Family Vehicle?
Right.
And part of them becoming the new family vehicle is they're also appealing more to women these days. And, we have a figure, the number of women who registered full-size pickups, which is, this is a little smaller than
Big
that,
trucks.
but full-size pickups has increased 67% from 2008 to 2016. Jen, you're a woman.
To be.
And capable, and you like to do outdoorsy things. So 2 questions for you. Could marketing toward you work to make you, want to buy a pickup truck? And 2, what is it about pickup trucks that appeal to you? Because I think you do kind of like pickup trucks.
I do. So let me just start by, believe it or not, women may really need a pickup truck. You think of, I've said multiple times, I got 2 horses in the backyard. We have a pickup truck at home. If I was single, I would probably have a pickup truck if I had 2 horses. You can't just load hay and grain and shavings in the back of your SUV, or it's going to be one messy SUV. And I would expand that. You guys have talked about your bikes. Women like mountain biking, sports, and I even think of the fixer-upper, the Chip and Joanna Gaines. You go to a flea market and you want to bring some old stuff home. You don't necessarily want to load all that in the back of an SUV. So there's real need, real utility for women as well as men in getting a pickup truck. Why I think it's a 67% increase is that a lot of the compromises have gone away.
Yeah.
They ride better, they have better fuel economy.
They're quiet.
They're versatile in the cabins. You got all these flips and the seats move and you can put your storage. We've even said they fit family. You said family. Child seats fit well. Yeah. There's tons of room. So a lot of what was a compromise before is not anymore. So you can get your utility that you either need or just want. I do think there's an image that women, you said the word. I like that word, capable. I think they portray an image when you're a female. We like being up high. We've already established that. That's why we like SUVs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it makes us feel capable that we don't have to maybe borrow some guy's truck to do the things we want to do.
Yeah, I always kind of get a little interested when I see a woman driving a pickup truck because I just
you wonder
immediately
what she's
think
interesting
of, I think of, what does she do with that truck? Does she have horses? Does she go mountain biking? Does she ride motorcycles? What is it that she does that she has a pickup truck? But
it makes her interesting.
It does make her interesting to me anyway.
Right.
Well, one thing is, what VW is showing is certainly not going to be a pickup truck that's going to tow horses.
No.
True.
But
well,
but there's an image.
They could put hay in the back, though.
Right, and then that's what I'm getting at. They could put a kayak or a paddleboard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the other piece is, I'm kind of my the senses go up when it's like marketing to women. Because I mean, what you don't want to do is market this as a girly truck for
Right.
women.
No.
Right.
That's the worst thing you could possibly do. So,
And I think I would almost find that a little bit offensive.
right, exactly.
Market to what my lifestyle is, be it male or female.
So
my needs.
I do think that it would be a truck that would appeal to many women and many guys and to a lot of people. But yeah, you don't want to go and make it the girly truck.
And
No,
this,
and I would say with the Tanoak or the Ranger, the smaller pickups, they even take away a little bit of the high step-in height, all
Right.
of the,
Right.
the parking issues, maneuvering such
Well,
a big vehicle. They take that away one step more.
and
You still get your utility.
This would be a car-based truck, like a
Right.
pickup, like a Honda Ridgeline, and I mean
Right.
that's clearly
Yes.
who they would be trying to compete against.
Sure.
Jake, should Volkswagen build this truck, and what would be, how much would it cost to retool the Atlas SUV to build this, basically put a pickup bed on the back?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, it's up to them, obviously,
Right.
and I mean, it's like the Honda Ridgeline.
Would you like to see it?
I would love to see it. I would love to see it, and I'll be honest, I'm not a pickup truck guy, and the reason is it's usually too much capability of what I need.
Right.
But I do like the Ridgeline, and I do like throwing the snowboards in there and the mountain bikes in
Right.
there, and whatever. I could tow my race car with it. I mean,
Right.
it's enough.
you-
I don't have the
enough.
horses.
Do you think 15 years from now we could be seeing a lot more car-based pickups instead of the regular traditional body on frame pickup?
I actually think it's inevitable, and I think the Ridgeline was ahead of its time. And I think it's just what we saw with SUVs. I mean, for so many years, those aren't real SUVs, and
Right, right.
the Explorer was still a truck-based vehicle for so long, and now. It's a thing of the past. They're all car-based. There's none of that. We need a real four-wheel drive system.
Yeah.
No, because these are vehicles that appeal to people. So I think we'll get there. I don't know how quickly we'll get there, but I think that's where the market's going to go.
And that's what Volkswagen's gauging.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. If you want to learn more about the cars that we talked about in the show, click on the links in the show notes below. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.